So I'm 20 now, and because this is the biggest turning point in my life so far, I wanted to talk about my history on YouTube because surprisingly, there's a lot of it. I've gone through 3 different YouTube channels, including this one, where I've uploaded a lot of different types of videos, because I wasn't always a Halloween guy. I love explaining the deep upside lore, so keep watching if you find it as interesting as I do. I started when I was 12 with a YouTube channel called Freddy, with a space between the 2 Ds, because you had to have a first and last name separated on your YouTube channel name at the time. And my 12-year-old brain didn't think to put Freddy Fazbear, so I opted to put a space between the 2 Ds. Anyways, as you could probably tell, I was obsessed with Five Nights at Freddy's as a kid. I first discovered it when Markiplier uploaded his first video on it when it released. That'll be relevant later. When I started, I didn't really know what I wanted to make. I just wanted to be a YouTuber, so I created the first thing that came to my head, and that's comedy skits. But you know how comedy skits are usually, funny? Yeah, these were not that. They were just fun to film random clips that I'd thrown into an editor with music over it and slapped it onto YouTube. I intended for this to be a series, although I only made 3 episodes. Maybe I'll make a 4th someday. After that, I embarked on a new series, one that I knew would make me ascend to greatness. I played with FNAF plushies. This was the perfect manifestation of my single interest. Freddy Fazboy, where the only joke that existed was me breaking the 4th wall and then acknowledging that I broke the 4th wall. It was absolutely hilarious, as you could imagine. Here lies my biggest regret in my content creation journey. I ended up deleting a lot of the episodes out of embarrassment. I've learned to keep everything, even if you're embarrassed by them, because it just goes to show how far you've come. And they're super fun to look back on. When I lost interest in playing with plushies on video, I sharpened my editing skills and created stop-motion animations of, you guessed it, Five Nights at Freddy's, of course. So I basically went from plushies to action figures. So much cooler. Those stop motion animations were cool and all, but doing animation in general introduced me to Source Filmmaker, a software where I could create way cooler 3D animations on my dad's laptop. While my other attempts at a video style were short-lived, this one seemed here to stay. Once I got pretty decent at it, I ended up creating a new YouTube channel to represent my change of course. This time, it would have an original name. Upside Down 1987.
Was that the bite of—
I drew a cartoon version of my dog Kevin for the profile picture and continued to make Five Nights at Freddy's animations. I thought this would be my thing and how I'd eventually make a career out of YouTube. I got fan art of my character and changed my video format again and... wait. What? Yeah, I decided to change what I did once again and rebrand it to Upside Films. I used puppets to make a series kind of like what SML used to do. And it felt like going back to my roots because it was kind of like the Five Nights at Freddy's plushie videos that I used to make. I figured it'd be easier to write and film puppet skits than to create animations for every video if I wanted to upload consistently enough to make a career out of YouTube. Surprisingly, I ended up getting a large audience from this and it added to my subscriber count. I was inspired to keep going and creating content and funny scripts. But as I was getting out of middle school and into high school, I also started to run out of ideas and run out of inspiration to make these videos. I felt too old for it, like I was too cool for it, and getting embarrassed by it, kind of like the Five Nights at Freddy's plushie videos. Luckily though, I did not delete these. They're all still viewable publicly on the old channel. After seeing the huge popularity in Five Nights at Freddy's fan games and mascot horror indie games in general, at that time I thought, I could do that! So me and my friends got together and created one game called Bad Times with Sans. It was a FNAF fan game meant to be a joke, and it definitely accomplished that. It was super fun to create and also to voice act for. It spawned a lot of inside jokes like Super Soda.
This phone call was sponsored by Super Soda! Have you been craving the sweet, sweet taste of everything? Well then get Super Soda! It tastes like everything! Take it from this gentleman right here! My husband is dead! If it doesn't make you throw up within 24 hours, then you can return it for free! That's right! For free! End of call.
And also familiarized me with Discord server creation when I created a server for the community of Cool Group Games, the game studio that we created for Bad Times with Sans. When we canceled the second game, I came back to YouTube with new ideas on how I'll finally make myself a YouTube career. The very original and non-competitive space of Let's Plays. That is not a stable elevator. Streamers on Twitch were blowing up at the time because they took their streams afterwards, edited it down, and uploaded it onto YouTube. So that's exactly what I did, of course. It was super easy content, and I figured it'd make me more comfortable on camera without a script eventually. Unfortunately, and unsurprisingly, this didn't take off. What it did do was add to the weird mishmash of subscribers who all subscribe for different things from what I'm making now. I had to sit and think about what I enjoyed making. I've gone through so many phases using YouTube as an outlet. Then I had an epiphany. My family has always celebrated Halloween bigger than our neighbors every year and I loved it. After my brother left on his mission, I took over and had more passion for it than anyone. I wondered if there was some kind of Spirit Halloween Discord server I could join and talk to people that had the same interests as me. Unfortunately, all I could find was a small group chat sized server with no rules and almost no channels. There was an owner who never spoke and a mod named SpiritFan23. After the Cool Group Game server, I was a server creating fanatic. So I thought to myself, if there wasn't an already existing big Spirit Halloween Discord server, I'd just make one. Out of this one. I started making a billion suggestions until SpiritFan finally just made me mod so that I could do everything. Looking back on it, we should have just made a new server from scratch because we basically had to overthrow the old owner for doing nothing. This is relevant because during all of this, I was still making gaming videos, branded as Upside Films. It wasn't until the server was big, SpiritFan changed his name to Ryan, I drew the profile picture of Brick Thunder who was at 300 subscribers at the time, and I got myself fully integrated into the community did I finally think, maybe I should make my own Haunter channel. Despite being super involved in the current wave of Haunters, I was incredibly late to the game without realizing it. I did it again! Considering I had an audience of 5,000 subscribers at the time, all of whom had subscribed for different reasons, I created a new channel for a fresh start called Upside Haunts. I was in my last 2 years of high school where I was making comedy skits in my video class, and those comedy skits ended up becoming the style of Upside Haunts. While everyone else made store tours, unboxings, demos, or reviews, for the most part I wanted to stay away from it. I felt a need to be original and become some kind of trendsetter, making animatronic-based comedy skits using my experience I've gained ever since my very first video. Despite being a small creator, comparatively to my friends, since I was so involved and known only within the community, obviously my influence was shown. But over time, just like all my other video styles, I started to run out of ideas, and it's gotten harder to come up with more skits where there's only one hallway to run down. I decided that a change was afoot, but not one that would alienate my audience. I would finally get my head out of the clouds and create review videos and unboxing and commentary videos to go along with the comedy skits whenever I get the ideas for them. Now we're here. I'm still figuring out what style to use for my review videos, because I've sat at my desk, I've used a green screen in multiple ways, and now I'm a flying image on the screen. Although I'm in a transitional period in my life and my YouTube career once again, I still love making videos, and I will continue to do this channel for the foreseeable future. Nearly everything I've talked about in this video still exists and are viewable on my previous channel. I'll link them in the description. I feel so old now being 20 compared to when I started, but I'm still so extremely excited to continue making content and trying new things to see what works. If you made it this far, my secret mission for you is to comment anything on a random video from my older channels. Thanks for watching! Bye-bye!